All right, I'm getting myself motivated with this November thing. I've had this project in mind for a while. I bought this binder maybe 2 months ago, and I've had my Sachin cards just kind of in a box, and I really wanted to make a binder. I've had a lot of fun making a binder with Bradman and Hobbs, and Sachin's really the other guy that I have just a ton of different issues of. So here we go. This might be a little bit of a long video. What I'm going to try to do is go through my collection and talk a bit about it. So, most of my cards are in here. I do have doubles of some of these, and I just put one of each card in here. So those are like individual, unique cards. Ones that wouldn't fit in the binder or that didn't make sense to the binder, I have out here. And then at the end, I've got some other stuff here. So some stickers and postcards and some tickets and things like that. But these piles are going to be pretty interesting. So don't drop until the end if you can make it, or at least fast forward to these if you get bored of these. But this is actually maybe my favorite part of my Sachin collection. The Indian collectors, for those of you out there in India, I'm telling you what you already know, but Big Fun is maybe the most popular brand of cards that the Indian collectors go after. I think a lot of that's for nostalgia purposes, but also it's a really big hunt. So you'll see about 9 or 10, or no, it gets about 6 pages here of just Big Fun cards, and I've organized them by year. So they start here, and the interesting thing here is they actually have the exact month that the stats are of. So these are all 1997, but like this one says January 1997. So that's my earliest Sachin Big Fun. And if you look at the other ones, you can see, sorry about the glare, but these ones are all 97. And then, here you get to July of 97. But, this whole page here is different Big Fun issues just from 1997. And by the way, Big Fun was a bubblegum brand, or I guess is a bubblegum brand. But, from a nostalgia perspective, a lot of the Indian collectors really like these. And then, like I said, the hunt of it, I've got about 35 different Sachin Big Funs, and I don't even think I'm a third of the way there. I think there's the number I had heard was somewhere around 120 different just Sachin Big Fun cards that were issued, between I guess he's got one really early, but most of them are between 96 and I think about 2002. So in that 6-year period, they issued just a ton of different sets, different cards. And I've got them, these are all in different, condition. This one here is pretty jacked. This one is very jacked. It's got some staining on it. I actually have a nicer copy of this that I got in a top loader, but I wanted to make sure I at least had one copy of each in here. Number one, just because I think it's fun and cool to see them all, but also just when I'm looking now for cards for sale, I think sometimes I would get kind of confused. It's easy to forget exactly which cards you've got, especially because a lot of them look similar. So now that I've got them all in here, I'll be able to quickly kind of page through by year and see which ones I still need. So my hope is, in the next year or so, get this up to maybe 50 different issues. I'm not going to hunt them too hard, but if I can find another 15 or 20 in the next year or two, I think that'll be good. These are not cheap, especially getting a rarer one in nice condition. You're going to pay a good bit of money for it. But yeah, definitely fun. So those are just the Big Funs, and like I said, I've got 35 different ones there. I would say the next most famous or next most popular brand to collect is Center Fresh. And these ones on this page are all Center Fresh issues. Maybe the coolest design is the Ice Crash. These aren't very common. You'll see them a little bit, but not that often. But that's a really nice Ice Crash. And then these ones here, you can see they all have different numbers on them. So I don't even know if these are really, in order from when they came out. But as far as organizing them, I think it's easy to just kind of organize them by number. So these ones are kind of the cricket trump card series. These are the Masters of Cricket. These are the score and win. And some of these numbers are a lot more rare to find. Some of these you'll see a little bit more commonly. And some of them also have much different kind of printing than others, to the point where I've had to ask Indian friends, like, are these legit? Some of them look a little bit blurry. As far as I know, everything I've gotten here is original. But there are scammers out there. There's a chance that some of these might be counterfeit, unfortunately. There's a lot of money to be made. So I've tried my best to avoid that. I've only bought from, really well respected sellers, and I've asked around, but you just don't know. But yeah, so this is just my Center Fresh collection. So what do I got there? 9 different ones on this page, another 3 of the regular size, and these 5 here are from what's called the Big Babool series from Center Fresh. You can see Center Fresh at the bottom there. Next up is another confectionery company. This is Mentos. So, on this page, you'll see 9 different Mentos cards. And, they have some of these that are yellow. Most of them I've seen are red. So I've got 3 different yellow ones. And then they've got some multiple player cards as well. So, you'll see these. One of the things I noticed that I hadn't noticed before is some of these that look exactly the same. Actually, there's 2 different versions of, and I'll show you that in a second. But, the Clash of the Asian Tigers, for example, which I just showed, both the fronts look the same. 2 very different looking backs. Same stats as far as I know. So they were probably printed around the same time, but for whatever reason, if anyone knows the history of that, why are these printed differently? Same thing here. And I think this one as well. So, all 3 of those Clash of the Asian Tigers cards, I've got multiple, backs of, I would say. And then here is this is actually a sticker, but really cool, kind of, you can see it's shiny, but it is a Mentos sticker. You can see that at the bottom. And then Boomer. So as far as I know, these are the different Sachin Boomer cards. These again look the same, but they're numbered differently on the back. I'll show that in a second. And these ones look the same, except different sizes and different color of blue. So you can see these ones actually look very, very similar in the back, but I'm not sure if you can actually see in this light. The one on the left here is B3, and the one on the right is A3. And I do have a nicer version of the A3, but I wanted to keep that in a top loader. And then, you can see these actually have, if you look at the font, they have slightly different font. I think just because the smaller one, they couldn't fit as much text on. And it's just a slightly different back. So, really happy to have those, really cool. And then these ones are neat as well. I believe these are from Alpenliebe. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, apologies. But, these ones look the same, except this one has rectangular shape, and this one has rounded corners. This is the red version. So, 3 of the same pose there. 3 more here, and then similar situation here with rectangular and rounded corners. So 9 of those. And then moving on to Pepsi. Unfortunately, a lot of these Pepsi cards are oversized, and I haven't figured out how to get these into a binder. So if anyone has experience with that, let me know. But there's actually 2 versions of each of these cards. There's 5 Sachin cards, and you'll see there's a smaller version and a bigger version. I was told originally that the smaller ones were just cut, which a lot of them are cut, but what I've found is that not all of them are. There were actually 2 different versions of these released. I believe that what happened was if you sent away enough of the tabs at the bottom, you could actually send away for a full set, but it wasn't the normal set, it was the smaller version. So I'll show that in a second, but you get the smaller versions of the 1 and the 2, and then the bigger versions of the 1 and the 2. Let me see if I can actually show you on the 3 what's going on here. Yeah, so here you go. So here's card number 3, and you can see the cut line here, right? There's scissors there. So that's card number 3. But yeah, take a look right below the S in Sachin. There's a scissors line, and you can see it's really close to the font there. Now on the smaller version, you can see that there is no cut line. Like, you know, you would see, if it was cut right there, you would see probably the line, but you'd at least see the top of the scissors, and you just don't see it. So, you know, this was, I think, the send away set. Which seems to be a little bit more rare, because you'll usually see either the full strip ones, which are actually pretty rare, or you'll see the ones that have a little bit of the cut line or the scissors. So to find the one that's just the send away set is a little bit more difficult in my experience. So that's number 3, both versions of number 4, and both versions of number 5. So again, you know, these are a little bit bigger than normal cards, especially the ones with the tabs. So I don't know exactly how to get them into the binder. I would love to have them in here. I think that they would fit really well. And you'll actually see this stack here, you know, even more so, you know, would be really cool to have in there. These are all Pepsi. These are all from the World Cup 1999. And I'll show you some from 2001 here in a second. But yeah, I guess while I'm going through these, I went really deep down this rabbit hole, which is probably an understatement. Now we're getting to the 2001 Pepsi Toss cards, and these are really neat too. You know, some of the pairings on here. You know, you've got, you know, 2 legends. A lot of times, you know, 2 Hall of Famers in the same card. Or 2, you know, like these guys were like some of the heroes. I guess that one's not a Sachin one. I'll take that out. You know, some of the heroes. You know, Dravid is a Hall of Famer. But you know, I did go really deep down this rabbit hole, and it's been a lot of fun. Like I can't say I regret it. I do think it's easy to get carried away, especially if you don't kind of have specific things you're going after. I was just going after, you know, anything that looked new, that I didn't have already, or that I could tell, you know, the Indian collectors really valued. Like, I just thought it was cool to get into my collection. But now I have seen, like, I've got a ton of stuff, I guess well over 100 different Sachin cards, and I'm not really stopping. So this is probably, to me, like the most iconic Pepsi card of Sachin. Like, that's just a great smile. It's just a great looking card. So happy to have that one in really nice condition in my collection. Cool. So that's the Pepsis. I will say quickly, like, there's a 2009 Score, which I think these were probably printed in England. And this is some kind of Wickets card game. Here's my Topps Cricket Attacks Sachin cards. So he's got 3 in the 2011 series, including the 101. He actually has the second version of the base card that's very rare. I do have it. I need to find it and put it in here. My copy's really jacked up, but there's a different little picture in the background. And that's how you know that that's the rarer variation. 2012, he's got a base, a regular gold, and a limited edition. And then 2013, he's got the base and the gold. So I think that's all of his cricket attacks. He didn't have any after 2013. I've been collecting some of his phone cards. So these ones, I guess I got 6 different variations of those. There are some more out there. I'll probably try to track those down eventually. And this is where I really did start going deep down the rabbit hole. When you start going after the unbranded stuff, right, unlicensed, there's just a ton out there. Like, he was, you know, Michael Jordan plus for kids in India. And there were a lot of things like this, like calendar cards, right? And you'll see I have some more of those too. But as far as I know, I actually think this sticker is licensed. I can't remember exactly who it is. It might be Mentos or something, or Center Fresh. But I think the rest of these are probably unlicensed. I didn't pay a ton for these, so it's not like I'm like breaking the bank, but it's just there's a lot out there, and I've got a lot of different postcards as well. These look the same, slightly different coloring, but they're actually one had 218 matches, one had 211. They have different coloring backs too. So that's my like regular sized Sachins. I've got some really cool stuff that's oversized though that I wanted to show off. This is a very rare Center Fresh card, and earlier when I was talking about what it looks like when a tab is cut, this card at first glance looks like a mint card. But then you see that little scissors on the bottom left. This was a card that had a tab. And here's a different one, but you can see where the tab would have been if someone didn't cut it. So happy to have it. It is a really nice card, but it is missing the tab, which makes it a little bit less desirable. There's still a lot of people that would want this card, and I'm not going to get rid of it because it's pretty hard to find. Here's one where you've got the tab, which is a rarer one. Not in as nice of condition, but happy to have the complete card with the tab. There's a very sought after big fun series that's oversized called Guts and Glory. So this was the first one that I had tracked down. I actually tracked down a much less nice copy of this, but I was able to pick up 3 of these in one deal a while back. This one I think is fairly rare, and this one is as well. So those are really cool. So those are more, I guess I've got 38 big funds then, because if you count these, I'll give myself credit for those as well. I got a lot of postcards. These are really nice, like branded postcards from Archie's, or licensed postcards. So really happy to have those ones. You can see there's a fairly big stack of them in there. This is the 1996 oversized. These are actually kind of like postcards, but people collect them. So I've got 2 copies of this one. One of them got damaged in the mail, so I got a second one that's really nice. And then this is a very interesting item. I had seen this one card around, and I'll actually flip straight to that. So this one card I got wind of a while back, and people were trying to figure out, like, is this even a real card? It's definitely real. I got the whole booklet here, but you've got Sachin in the top right there, near the top right. 1990, his first ever card. Just the team card though. There are a few individual players from India, but not Sachin, unfortunately, which probably would be a monster card. But I hadn't actually seen this whole book, and this is a really nice one. They got the little corner things in there, so it's not like these are glued down or anything. Was happy to pick up the whole book here. Just a nice item to have. All right, on to some of the better or rarer kind of international cards I have. These are from South Africa. So these are from 1996. So that's the base 1996 sports deck. This is the sought after insert, the golden wicket. Here's the base Futura from 1996. And then I've got 2 variations of the World Cup Warriors. I've got the one that's a sample version, which is very, very rare. And then the regular version that's numbered out of 2000. These are the 2009 Top Trumps. This is a cool one. I picked this up recently. This is the 2011 Sachin Gold with a really nice signature right in the middle. So that's a tough one to find. I'd never seen one of these autographed before, definitely not for sale. So I was definitely happy to pick that up. That's going to stay in my collection. I do have the 1992 total Sachin, but I've sent it off. This is the wrapper, which I've only seen. I've actually know one guy who's got a complete pack that's unopened that has a Sachin card showing in it, which is just insane. But I just did want to show off what the design looks like for folks that haven't seen it. This is a really nice copy of Kapil Dev. But, the Sachin in this set, in this nice of condition, this is probably like a PSA 7 plus. Would be, many thousands of dollars. Even, poorer condition ones, good or fair condition, have sold for a couple thousand. So, happy to have the Sachin here. Don't have it with me, so I can't show it off. But I do have this one, which is maybe his most sought after / valuable card out there, the Pro Sport. And it's really nice. So happy to have that in my collection. I plan on sending this off to get graded and just protect that as well. So that was all the really good stuff. Feel free to turn it off. I'm going to show off a little bit more stuff that you may or may not be interested in, but just there's a lot of really cool memorabilia out there. You've got all of these stickers. So these ones are all stickers. Like, look at those cool designs. And I actually took one of them and made it the cover of the book just because I thought it looked sharp. I love how the blue matches the blue background. I just think that's an awesome shot. But yeah, the rest of these stickers I'll just hold on to. I just think they're cool. Will these ever be collectible, quote unquote, or valuable? I really doubt it. There's probably someone out there that would want it. I don't think they would pay very much for it, but I didn't pay very much for them either. These are like calendar cards like I was talking about. So in 2003, someone would have had those and, they could hold on to it and remember what the dates were. And here's 2005 as well. I'm guessing there's probably a lot of folks that didn't really have internet yet. So it was, kind of nice to have that. This is a stamps commemorating Sachin's 200th test, which was a really big deal. Not only was it his 200th, but it was actually his last test match as well, which actually ended a amazing career. And this is the first day cover for the stamps. So you can see November of 2013. And I've shown this off previously, but this is a full match book of all 5 tickets from that test match. I'm not going to open those up right now. I've got a video where I actually show each of them, and each ticket has a slightly different design, really neat with photos of Sachin. But yeah, so I've got those, those little commemorative things to go with it. I don't think that like this first day cover is really worth much or this thing, but because I have the tickets themselves, I like that I have the commemoration to go along with it. Here's another Archie's postcard. This is like one of the coolest things. Again, is it worth anything? Like, no, probably not. But like, look at this card. It might be worth something actually to somebody. I don't know. But I just think that is so cool, especially with like the broken English too. The matches never end till the last ball. But yeah, how about that? Pretty neat. And you've got, Ganguly, Sachin, and Hazar in the front. And I've just got a bunch more postcards. That's Laura. But, I really enjoy these. I like having a bunch of different images, and I really like the history, right? So I've talked about this a lot. This was incredible history for India at this point in time, and really from, I'd say, the mid 90s, right? Like 95 or 96, all the way through, he was still playing in the India Premier League into 2013, right? So that's a That's a really long run, close to 20-year run. And he was on the test team a lot earlier than that too. So he was playing big time cricket in India for over 20 years and just had an incredible career. Iconic player, second best cricketer of all time by most people's estimation. Closest thing people ever saw to Bradman. So just collecting his stuff, I get a big kick out of it. So let me know what you think. Overkill, crazy, cool. What do you think?